Okay, today we're going to talk about, parts of a collage and how you can make your collage more interesting. And one of the ways of making your collages more interesting, in my opinion, is by having some dimensionality to it. In other words, not such a flat surface. This is very flat here, but this you see this traveling this way. It's going in. It's got a vanishing point over here, and they're larger and then getting smaller. You see that of course in art. So it's called kind of the vanishing point. So you see it loses its flatness when you put these sort of things in there. So the other thing is, I always like having my people always on something, no matter where they are on the page. Like I put them in a chair, I put something below them so they're on something. And with these vanishing points, you can kind of put people anywhere as long as you have that vanishing point going into the page, and then like this couple standing on this. So I would put them standing over here or standing on something, but they're standing on this boardwalk that's going this way. So now so you go to any kind of site, free copyright site online. There's many of them. I use mostly Pixabay, which I'll put a link for Pixabay down there. And I did do these two today. I just printed them up. So here's another. You see how they're going in, and you have the street. That goes into a vanishing point. You have the cars, larger at one end, smaller at the other. So this all gives your work more visual interest, I believe. Now a picture like this, I'm not crazy that it's black and white, but you don't have to use the whole picture. You could just use a part of the building because it has that dimensionality. Or you could just use this part of the building. You don't have to use, or you could just use the road, or you could just use some cars. Or if you're starting it on the other side of the page, if I were to, like this part would go on this side and this part would go on that side. And then you could just have a couple of those. So with one painting or one picture, you would cut it up. I mean, you could use the whole thing, but you could cut it up and have a lot of different sizes and positions and objects that you could use to make it look more interesting, intriguing, give it some depth to your picture. And this is another one I got. This is not black and white, although it looks black and white. I thought this was really cool. So there's the water, and then there's this some kind of walking out to some kind of ship or something. But again, you have this going in to the vanishing point, but then you could just use snippets of these to intimate. You could have this part or that part or this part. It's just even this is almost going back to the background. So having a vanishing point, or having pictures that show a vanishing point, really, and putting them in your collage really gives you more options and more interest into a collage. Now, when I searched for these, I just put in vanishing point. So I went to Pixabay, which I'll leave a link, and I just searched for vanishing point, and they came up with they came out with roads and all kinds of things. You could probably put vanishing point bridges, vanishing point landscapes, vanishing point roads, whatever you like. But these are good to have in your arsenal. Always good to have these in your arsenal. The other thing to have a lot in your arsenal are portals, doorways, or anything. Of course, doorways are also, you're opening things up, and a lot of times you do see them in sort of a dynamic view with a vanishing point in them. So when you are collecting papers, look for these kind of things in magazines. I'm not sure where I found this, but you'll also find them in magazines. You just have to be alert to them. When you see something starting in the forefront of the page and going towards the back, towards the vanishing point, that could be cut out and used for your collage to make it more interesting. That's my tip for the day. Have a good one.